Marvel Studios rushed into its Civil War too soon. Captain America Civil War is an incredible film, but maybe it arrived a bit too early in the lift of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This came out 23 hours ago. I just talked about in a previous video Disney, and they bought the Marvel 13 years ago today, September 1st, and like I said, I don't think it was the best thing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but what do you think? Do you think they rushed into Civil War, adapting it? Captain America kicked off Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe over 6 years ago with Captain America Civil War. It was directed by the Russo brothers, coming straight off the success of Captain America the Winter Soldier, which is that's like my top 3 right there. Arguably my favorite MCU movie is Captain America the Winter Soldier, because you could take that movie right out of the MCU and it's just a badass espionage movie.
But that was awesome.
And to many, it remains one of the strongest installments of the MCU, as I just laid out. However, Marvel Studios may have jumped the gun and adapted Civil War a little bit too early. I like Civil War. It's basically like the fifth Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Fans only need to take one look at the original Civil War comic written by Mark Millar to see that something's missing from the film. Whereas the comic truly felt like a universe divided, the film feels like a lot smaller in scope, and nowhere is it clearer than the airport battle.
Okay, first, that's an exaggeration. Second, I did it to protect you.
To many critics and fans alike, the airport battle between the Avengers was the highlight of the film. It was an epic clash between numerous heroes in the MCU and a creative display of so many unique powers coming together and punching each other. But it just feels so empty. Compare the airport battle in the movie to any splash page of action from the comic book run, and it feels like there's nothing there. The reason is simple. Civil War comics was built on decades and decades of storytelling and world building. Civil War in the movies was built on 8 years of films, and that's just not as much. The comics had more characters, so naturally the scope of the titular conflict could be much bigger. Well, yeah, they did, in that respect, absolutely, they jumped into it. You've only been doing this for 8 years, and you don't have the rights to all the characters yet, so you're going to try to do that anyway. But, it kind of, I don't know. I just, at that point in time, it's a good movie, yeah, but I haven't read the Civil War comics. I haven't read those, So, obviously, the comics are going to be way more in-depth anyway. That's just the case all the time, because creatively, you have more to fit. You can fit more into a comic book series than you can a 2-hour movie. So, but I understand, you're talking years and years and years and years of comics building to Civil War, whereas, the airport, it's like an 8-year. Okay. I understand that perspective.
There's something you should know about me. When I say I understand, it doesn't mean I agree. It doesn't mean I understand. It doesn't even mean I'm listening.
Ultimately, the movie Civil War is not really about the Avengers falling out. It was simply a backdrop to a personal story about Steve and Tony's relationship, and the film is all the better for it. The comic tried to do the same, but the sheer scale of the narrative meant the personal conflict between Steve and Tony would get lost in the shuffle. So in that regard, the movie got it right. I can see that.
I can see clearly now.
But all the same, one can't help but imagine a scenario where Marvel Studios chose to make Civil War today. So many new heroes have been introduced and so many corners of the universe have been explored that a Civil War movie could now match the epic scale of the comics. Since the comics did make a sequel to Civil War, maybe Marvel Studios could consider adapting Civil War 2 in the future.
No!
Please don't.
No, God!
Please don't.
No, God, please, no! No!
Please don't.
No!
If you're looking at it from a perspective of the conflict between Steve and Tony, then it was pretty well perfect. The movie, that part of the story. And as they said, you can't focus on that one area in the comic run without neglecting the scope of the actual conflict. The movie, you have to kind of hyper-focus it because you're dealing with, a runtime and you have so much other narrative to get in and your plot. Whereas in the comic, like I said, you have the leeway to move things around and, stretch the story out much longer than you do cinematically. So, do I think they rushed into Civil War from a storytelling standpoint? No. Do I think they rushed into it from lack of, having the characters that they really need to do this, that was the caveat. Yes, I do. Yeah. I just, that's my thoughts on it, folks. Like I said, they keep adding new characters to the MCU. The problem is we're getting quantity and we're not getting much quality from the MCU anymore. One look at She-Hulk or the litany of shows on Disney Plus from Marvel that have come before it, they're not great. But you may have a different opinion, and now it's your turn to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Opine. Let me know. Am I right? Am I wrong? What did you think? Did you read this Marvel Comics Civil War story arc? What are your thoughts compared to the movie? I like the movie. I think it's great. Like I said, the airport battle in retrospect, you know, kind of hearing people talk about how big the scope of the battle was in the comics. They had many more characters to work with. And that's always the issue between the, you know, cinematic and the pages of the books. But if today's the day I've earned it, subscribe to the channel. We've got Terminalist Review will be dropping for channel members later on. We've got another CUNTS Communist United News Transmission Service video coming tomorrow, comrades. The She-Hulk Episode 3 review, and so much more. Subscribe, ding the bell, slap the like button, not just for me, for your other favorite YouTubers. We greatly appreciate it. I'm Itepakuna, the place to be reviews. I've been here with all of yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.